Every day I would sneak into the hospital cafeteria just to eat the leftover fatty meat from other people's trays. The cafeteria auntie saw me and kicked over the leftover food in anger. But while everyone scolded me, I felt nothing but injustice. Because what I was doing was actually to save my mom. She was diagnosed with leukemia, and I volunteered to donate bone marrow. But the doctor said donors must weigh at least 90 pounds. So I began binge eating every day, just to gain weight and save her life. It wasn't until that moment that people realized they had misunderstood me. The cafeteria auntie teared up and said, from now on she would serve me herself. I could eat as much as I wanted. Soon, our story spread across the hospital. Moved by our situation, doctors and patients all offered to help. But even with so many kind people, the 500,000 needed for surgery was still an unimaginable amount for us. Someone asked, where was my dad? My mom instinctively touched the jade pendant around her neck, and her mind drifted back to 6 years ago. Back then, she and my father were in love. But when she got pregnant with me, she broke up with him. Even lied, said she had fallen for someone else, and had already aborted the baby. Then she turned around heartlessly, leaving him behind. What he didn't know was that she had just been diagnosed with leukemia. The doctor said she had only 6 years to live. She didn't want to drag him down, so she left, and even decided to donate her corneas to him one day. But my father, unaware of the truth, believed she had betrayed him and hated her ever since. Until 6 years later, fate brought them together again. That day he came to the hospital to visit his mother and accidentally bumped into me. I was crying, begging him to help me find my mom. Because earlier that day, she had secretly left a suicide note and disappeared. After failing to gather the money for surgery, she didn't want to burden me anymore. When I woke up and saw the note, I rushed out to look for her. And that's when I met my father, though I didn't know it at the time, and he thought I was a scammer. Just then, a commotion broke out nearby. Someone was on the roof, threatening to jump. I ran toward the rooftop, because deep down, I knew it had to be my mom. Seeing how panicked I was, my father finally softened and ordered his bodyguard to follow me. When we arrived, my mom was already on the edge of the railing. Thankfully, the bodyguard acted fast and pulled her back in time. In that moment, I broke down in tears, begging her not to leave me. She finally gave in and agreed to stay. Afterward, to thank my father, I found out which room his mother was in and mustered the courage to visit her unexpectedly. The moment she saw me, she said I looked just like her son when he was little. She quickly asked why I was there. I told her I came to thank my father for saving my mom. The assistant added that my mom was blind, had leukemia, and almost jumped off the roof today. If not for them, she wouldn't be here. The grandmother was heartbroken. Without hesitation, she handed me 500,000 yuan and told me to use it for surgery. I knelt down on the spot, tears flowing. She grew more and more fond of me. To show my gratitude, I brought her a basin of water and offered to wash her feet, but she quietly plucked a strand of my hair and gave it to her assistant for a DNA test. When my father learned everything, he immediately blamed his mother, refused to believe I was his child, but my grandmother gave him a choice: take the test, or go marry the scheming woman. Forced by her pressure, he reluctantly agreed to the test. Meanwhile, the scheming